Next up, we've got, next on the list is Mark Meadows. Doug, you want to speak for Mark? Mark was unable to be here tonight. We'll let Doug explain everything about that.
I'm actually Doug Crosby. I'm Mark Meadows' campaign coordinator, and the reason he isn't here tonight with you is there are actually several Lincoln Day dinners today, and there's one here and there's one in Robinsonville in Graham County. Originally, the Graham County Lincoln Day dinner was to start at 6 o'clock, so he was going to come here, he was going to get here, he was going to speak at 4 o'clock, he was going to get in his car and just try not to go too far over the speed limit because we go through Jeff Hunt's district to get to Robinsonville so that he could speak at the 6 o'clock. Well, they moved theirs back to 5 o'clock, and without a helicopter or a Star Trek transporter, there was no way he could be at both events. And if there is an engineer in the room that can create a transporter, please talk to me after this meeting. Okay, we're going to need it over the next 2 months. But anyway, like I said, I am Doug Crosby, and I'm his campaign coordinator, and I want to say just a few words about Mark Meadows. And I'm going to start out by talking about something that happened just about 6 weeks ago over in Avery County. Over in Avery County about 6 weeks ago, there was an explosion in Newland. Scared the town, scared everyone in the town, and a gentleman got kind of, not critically hurt, but he got hurt, but he didn't die from his injuries. Well, about a week after that, I was in Avery County, and I was speaking to the Sheriff Kevin Fry, and I said, Kevin, I said, you know, with this brilliant Davidson College education I have, I just looked at him and I said, hey, Kevin, what was that explosion in Newland like? Kevin just looks at me and goes, boom. So I had to stop for a second. He got me. But that's sort of the situation that we're in the 11th District. A lot of you are waking up this morning and you're coming to this Lincoln Day dinner and you see all this literature on your table and it's like, boom. Wow. How do I decide who? How do I decide who to stand behind? How do I decide who to vote for? Because it's an important decision. In North Carolina right now, we have a golden opportunity and a historic opportunity to do something that we have not done since Reconstruction. Right now, we have control of the Senate and the House in North Carolina. We have the opportunity to also get a Republican governor for the first time since Jim Martin left office in 1988. By the way, the only 2 Republican governors since the Civil War were both Davidson graduates, just to let you know that. This one will be a Catawba graduate, but that's fine. But now we have the opportunity of having the House, the Senate, and the governorship. That's unprecedented in the 20th or 21st century in North Carolina. We have an opportunity to take this district back and put it into a conservative's hands, out of someone that claimed to be conservative but kept voting with Nancy Pelosi over and over and over again. So we have an opportunity to make history in the state of North Carolina. But you have to decide who you're going to vote for. All of the candidates are going to tell you that they're for the Second Amendment. All of them are going to tell you they're for the 10th Amendment. All of them are going to tell you that they're for creating jobs and lowering taxes and balancing the budget. So you have to ask yourself 3 questions. Who is the person? What values do they have and stand on? And what kind of plan do they have to move us forward? Mark Meadows is a gentleman that moved up here 27 years ago. After he and his wife got married 32 years ago, he finished working his way through college. He took a small $25,000 loan and moved to the mountains of North Carolina. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, he's not from North Carolina. He may not be. But this is where he decided to have his children and to raise his children. Because this is where he saw the values that had been instilled in him as a child with a father that was from the military. This is a place that he saw the values and the morals that he needed and believed in. And he came to this area to raise his family and to grow old with us. The second thing is he took that $25,000 and opened a small restaurant. And that restaurant became very profitable. And he sold that restaurant and eventually opened up a property and management firm. And now is a real estate developer. He has created jobs. He loves the Lord. The 3 words that I use every day to describe Mark Meadows is a Christian, conservative, Republican. And in that order. His Christianity comes first. And he doesn't mind talking to you about it. He'll take you in a corner. He'll speak to you in person. He'll talk to any group of people about what he believes in Christ. He is a conservative. He believes in the conservative values of the western half of North Carolina, and that's what's important. We need to send someone to Washington that will stand up for what they believe, draw the line, and not back away from it. He is unapologetic pro-life. Not only does he want to do away with the tragedy of abortion, but it's actually a two-step method. Not only do we need to do away with abortion, but we must break down the barriers for adoption. It must become easier in this country to adopt an American child than it does to go to China and adopt a Chinese child. It must become less expensive to do the same thing. He is also believes that marriage is between one man and one woman, period. No ifs, ands, ors, buts. Mark will tell you every day that the most important issue that will be on the ballot May the 8th is the constitutional amendment for marriage. I ask that each of you really vote and consider and vote for that amendment. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends to go to the polls and do that. I ask for you to please do that because it is the most important. We're at a threshold in our country, not just our state. Our religious freedoms are being attacked every day. Look at what the administration is doing with contraceptives. Look at what the administration is doing with all of the other things. Look at the amount of money that the gay and lesbian community is dumping into this country and this state right now to defeat this marriage amendment. Think about the things that are happening. We're talking about the ACLU suing the North Carolina legislature for opening with prayer. We're talking about these type of things. It needs to be stopped. Mark also has a plan for the future. Mark believes in life, liberty, and lower taxes. And he has a plan for jobs, which is called the 2020 plan, which is perfect eyesight, 2020 eyesight. It reduces regulations by 20% as we put a moratorium on all regulations at this time. It reduces the corporate tax rate from 29% or 28% down to 20%. It reduces and brings back the money that's overseas that no one's paying taxes on today because it's overseas. It brings it back into this country tax-free for 20 months as long as it's invested in manufacturing. These are the things that Mark Meadows believes in. And I will answer any and all questions about him afterwards. And he will be here soon. Because he's been up here several times already. And he really hates that he wasn't able to be here tonight. Thank you very much and God bless you.